ESPN draft analyst Matt Miller just dropped a 2-round NFL mock draft, and we're going to react to the Chicago Bears selections here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. My name is Harrison Graham, and I got to say, if the Bears got this two-man haul, I think it would be a home run for Ryan Poles. So we'll dive into it here on the show. And all right, guys, I launched TikTok a few months ago. I also have a Facebook business page now. I know a lot of you guys that watch are more in the Facebook crowd than X, Instagram, etc. You know, Instagram, TikTok, more for Gen Zers out there. So I'm trying to spread the wealth. So if you want to support me, follow me on Facebook. Facebook.com/HGramNFL. Just launched, trying to get to 100 followers. If you're just on Facebook and search Harrison Graham Chat Sports, you'll be able to find me. But if you search the link right there, Facebook.com/HGramNFL, give me a follow. Would love to get to 100 followers by the end of the day. All right, let's just kind of sprint through before the Bears pick at 25. I'm not going to read off all of these names, but here's who Matt Miller had, starting, of course, there with Mendoza to the Raiders. A couple pass rushers with Maui Noah in between there. Caleb Downs goes in this second chunk to Washington at 7. You see Jeremiah Love there going to the Saints as well. David Bailey, a couple of corners, and Delane and McCoy going 10-11. Sonny Styles 12. Miller then had the other Tennessee corner, Colton Hood. Brandon Cece pretty high. He had Jordan Tyson falling to 14. I thought that was a steal for Baltimore. Mekhi Lemon there at 16. Keldrick Faulk goes to the Lions. The Vikings get Toledo safety Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, who I mocked to the Bears in my last mock myself. You see TJ Parker go off the board to Dallas there at 20. Caleb Banks, another potential target, goes 22 to the Chargers. And then Denzel Boston, the pick right before Chicago. So then the Bears at 25 overall get Zion Young, the edge rusher out of Missouri, who had a nice week at the Senior Bowl and a really good season in the SEC. Here's what Miller had to say about Zion Young and the Bears. He said, GM Ryan Poles has to plug holes and continue to develop a defense that needs pass rushing threat opposite of Montez Sweat at defensive end. The 6'5", 262-pound Young is more of a three-down edge setter than a sudden pass rusher, but he uses his long arm move to set up tackles, establish the corner in the run game. Young needs to develop a secondary pass rush move with a better plan, but the traits are there for him to be a solid starter in a 4-3 defense. Like I mentioned a minute ago, he was one of the big winners at the Senior Bowl, had a really strong week. And he does profile as like a prototypical Dennis Allen edge. Big, strong, physical. I think he's a plug-and-play plus run defender at edge, and was someone who needs to develop more of a complete arsenal to become, you know, one of the more dynamic pass rushers in the NFL. He's more of a bull rusher, uses his length and strength, but it needs that secondary move, which is kind of what Miller is mentioning there. But very productive in the SEC. He has the traits you're looking for. It's just a matter of if you can coach him up and add to that arsenal. But I think this is, you know, a high floor TBD ceiling type of pick, right? Like, I think if he hits and reaches a lot of his potential, you know, he's probably like a Montez Sweat type, right? Where really good run defender, you know, the pass rushing kind of comes and goes. But at 25 overall, if he's a guy that, you know, turns into a, you know, 6 to 10 sack per year guy, but as a plus run defender, that's kind of where you're picking, right? Like, you're probably not going to get a 6-time All-Pro, 25th overall. So I think he checks a lot of boxes. I think you plug him into a rotation with Sweat and Austin Booker. Maybe you land a Khalil Mack or a Trey Hendrickson, one of these guys on a one-year deal in free agency, so you don't have to just rush him into action. And then you have 4 edge rushers you feel pretty good about in 2025. So I like this pick. I think he's right there in that range for the Bears at 25 overall. He's one of, you know, 10 or 12 players I'd be looking at that selection for Chicago at this point in time. Do you guys like the Zion Young pick at 25 overall? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. I think it would be a good selection for the Chicago Bears. Okay, we'll jump to the second round here in just a moment. But first, got to tell you, PrizePicks, the big game. There's no better place to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. It's actually sad, but It's going to be fun this week. So close the season out right with PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Find your community on PrizePicks. With the new social feeds feature, you can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. You can also copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow PrizePicks partners like us, tailor-fade our picks with just one click. Search me in the PrizePicks app at HGramNFL. You'll see all of my lineups. And we got the big game max discount. Drake May, more than half a passing yard. Boom, you're halfway home to hitting on a 2-player lineup if you use that discount. Why wouldn't you take advantage? Right now, download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Gives you that extra wiggle room. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. Okay, we jumped to round 2. Pick number 57, AJ Haulcy, the safety out of LSU. I like this kid's game a lot, and I think if you pull this kind of combo off, pass rusher, safety in the first 2 rounds, I think you'd be pretty happy if you're Ryan Poles. Again, from Matt Miller, he says, quote, "The Bears need more playmakers on defense, and with Jaquan Brisker set to hit free agency, there's room to add a safety early. Haulcy's 8 interceptions over the past 2 seasons would translate to Chicago's opportunistic defense." I love this value in round 2. I think when it's all said and done, he could be like an early round 2 guy, so I'm not actually sure if he falls to 57, but I do think this is going to be one of those drafts where there's going to be a lot of players between like 20 and 60 where it's like, this team has him as their 23rd prospect. That team has him as 54th ranked prospect, and he probably falls into that category, right? Where like he's a good prospect, but could depend on the scheme. I like the fit though. He's built, he's 220 pounds, so he's not afraid to mix it up in the box, but he also has the ball skills to play center field, be that versatile DB, which fits what Dennis Allen wants. He wants DBs that can do different things in his secondary, and this guy can do that. Again, he's not afraid to lay the lumber. He can drop back in coverage, cover tight ends in the slot. I do like the ability to take the ball away. That was a calling card for the Bears defense this year, and with it feeling like Al Harris is going to be back this year, you love that. Obviously, Kevin Byard had 7 picks himself this year, so you put those guys next to each other on the back end. You know, am I going to say he's going to be better as a rookie than Jaquan Brisker is 4 years into his career? Maybe, maybe not, but I do think the potential is higher. I think his coverage skills are better than Brisker's, whereas Brisker might be a tick better at the line of scrimmage. But I like the fit next to Kevin Byard. Byard, if that can help bring him along into his career early on as well. Obviously, you have to re-sign Kevin Byard, but I do think that is very likely to happen. And, you know, assuming they let Brisker walk, which I also think is very likely to happen, you're going to have to draft a safety. And I think that would happen pretty early on in the NFL draft, if not round 1, round 2, or round 3, to get a guy that you can come in and develop and start right away. Okay, grade this Bears 2-round mock draft from Matt Miller, A, B, C, D, or F. Drop a letter grade in the comments. Again, I think, you know, right now, sitting on February 2nd, I think it'd be kind of a home run. You check a box of a defensive lineman who fits the skill set you're looking for, and you get a playmaker in your secondary, which you also need as well. I think it's an A grade for Miller, and I want to hear from you guys as well. All right, that's going to do it here on Chicago Bears Now. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. Also, hit that subscribe button here on the channel. Reminder on that Facebook link, facebook.com/HGramNFL. If you want to give me a follow over there, I would greatly appreciate it. My name is Harrison Graham. Remember, live show tomorrow instead of today. I had some stuff come up this afternoon, so we'll have an episode in the morning, and then we'll be live tomorrow afternoon. We'll see you then. Bear down.